Hi everyone. This is going to be a little bit of a longer one, but I'm ready to talk about what my family and I have been experiencing this past year. And I think it's important because I'm trying to raise awareness about it, and it's important that our friends and family know truly what was happening and what we're going through. So we found mold, toxic mold in our house last summer. On July 2nd, we left. Um, Sorry, my hair is a little crazy because I'm in my car. So we left our house July 2nd. The house was inspected, I think, the day before or maybe that day. And the inspector, told me on the spot that he saw some growth and that he was going to test it, and that he found a lot of moisture on the exterior wall of my office. So he recommended that we get it opened up, and we call a remediator. So that's all you had to tell me. Um, so I called my friends, Jamie and George, and they were like no questions asked immediately, like, come stay with us. Don't worry about it. Just pack your things, stay with us. And so we did, and we stayed there a few weeks, but it got a little bit crowded. And we just needed like a space of our own. We were fortunate enough to have some of the issue covered by insurance, and I'll go into detail about that in another video. So our hotel stay was covered, and so for the next 4 months we stayed in hotels. And over that time I thought, since the mold was in my office, I still didn't really know like the whole scope of mold. I knew what most people think they know, right? Like, mold is bad for you, some people get sick from it. But I didn't know like how that really worked. Like, I thought, okay, we're going to remediate and then we're going to move back in, or we're going to sell our house. I thought, I spent a lot of time in that office, I should probably get checked out. So no conventional doctors really do anything. They just, if you don't have an allergy to mold or asthma, they don't really think there's a problem. So they don't have the testing for it or anything like that. So I had to find a functional medicine doctor, actually an integrative medicine doctor. So yeah, I went down the rabbit hole of what health problems could I have, and if there was mold in my house, like, what's the probability that there's mold in the place we're staying, right? In hotels or in other homes. So as we're looking for apartments and staying in hotels, I'm beginning to see signs of water damage. I'm beginning to pick up on the smell because now I'm really like sensitized to it. And as I'm reading about mold illness and learning about mold illness and mold toxicity, I'm seeing that all these symptoms are matching the symptoms I had been having for the past 5, now 6 years. All my symptoms make sense. Holy shit. So it turns out there's this syndrome called CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, that 25% of the population has. You have a gene or 2 or 3. There are several different haplotypes or genes that this population can have that causes our immune systems to not be efficient at detecting and tagging the toxins from mold and other biotoxins that are associated with water damaged buildings and mold. So I get tested, find out that I have 3 of these genes. One is also for Lyme disease. Now I'm like, wow, I have to be extra careful of where I stay and what next home we move into. So long story short, the insurance claim is the case is closed in November 1st. We had to move back into our house because we had not found a suitable place to stay. And what sucks is that people don't understand CIRS. It's not widely recognized, so they don't really believe it. And it sounds pretty damn unbelievable and pretty damn impossible, and it is. So 50 to 70% of buildings in the US, that includes homes, that includes businesses, that includes apartments and condos and townhouses and houses and new builds even, have water damage and mold and all of the toxic soup that goes along with it. And for a person with CIRS, like me, that could be almost deadly. Like, some people get anaphylaxis when they walk into these buildings, and it doesn't have to be a large amount of mold. And that's the difficulty I've been having is my friends and family not understanding that and thinking that it's in my head, because I've had a history of anxiety, health anxiety, and OCD, which, my friends, are symptoms of CIRS. CIRS causes neuroinflammation. It causes chronic anxiety, chronic fatigue, OCD, ADHD symptoms, POTS syndrome symptoms, hair loss. It mimics autoimmune disease. It destroys your gut. It's a multi-system syndrome. It can mimic perimenopause, which I thought all my symptoms were perimenopause. Frequent urination, UTI-like symptoms. And I had several, like bleeding, what I thought were UTIs, and I would test negative for them in the ER, and they would put me on antibiotics, and I'd have an adverse reaction to the antibiotics. So trust me when I say, like, I'm not making it up. It's not in my head. There's a whole huge population and a whole huge rising industry that is researching and treating this mold illness. Now, don't get me wrong. My friends and family are doing their best to try and understand and be compassionate, but they don't know what they don't know. And I didn't know about CIRS either until I had a mold problem in my house and decided to investigate more, and then realize, oh, my symptoms. A lot of people chase their symptoms and then find out they have mold. And for us, it was the reverse. So I can't
be mad at that, but I do hope that they will and learn about it. I mean, they don't have to, but honestly, that's the only way you're going to understand it. And just don't dismiss it. That's all I ask.
And on top of that, right, because it's so stressful, because it's so expensive, all the things that you need, the air purifiers, the special inspections, the putting your trust in the wrong professionals who don't do their jobs properly, the insufficient remediation. And it's not the remediation company's fault. They think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it really sucks because there's no regulation pretty much in almost all the states. I think 1 or 2 states it's actually regulated. So it's very difficult, very expensive, very soul-sucking problem. It is destroying my relationship with my husband and my daughter because I'm so on edge, and my neuroinflammation and my PTSD and my dysregulated nervous system are causing me to just like freak out and not want to be in my house. I can't be in my house because it's making me sick. And I'm not saying this to complain or vent on here. I'm saying this so you understand the severity of it, because it's really important. Like, there are people who live in their cars. I have slept in my car several nights. I sleep in hotels. I don't know how great the air quality is in the hotels either, but it sure beats being in my house. That makes me very triggered and very sick. And I've had a flare, and trust me, I never want to have a flare again. That's when your symptoms flare up and you get this horrible brain fog and just pain everywhere and this loud ringing. So I'm saying this to raise awareness. I'm going to be posting more and more about it. I think the people that I see on social media who are recovering and doing well are the people who are on there sharing about it, who are on there advocating and turning their pain to purpose. And that's what I want to do. That's always what I've done, is turn my pain to purpose. And so this is no different. This is a very big mission. And I'm just asking for you guys to listen and have an open mind. If you have questions, please come to me. I'm not an expert by any means, but I know a little bit. I know something. And your support in whatever capacity. It's actually a very real thing. I'm going to link some resources and evidence-based articles on this video so that you have the information. And you know, if you're somebody who is, any of this sounds familiar to you, then I recommend you read these articles. And if you're somebody related to me and you want to understand, and I hope that you want to understand, then you should read these articles and understand. Or just type CIRS or mold toxicity into your browser. Go on social media, type it in on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and see how many of the thousands of accounts there are out there of people talking about this, suffering from this, and trying to help others with this. All right. That is all for now. It's a long one. I'm sorry, but I had to come on here and let you guys know, man, this is the hardest thing I've ever been through. The hardest thing. And I've been through some hard shit. It's really, it's a life wrecker.
And I just want to share one more thing. I know that this sounds horrible and like really scary. And while it is, I am not trying to fearmonger in any way. It's a problem. It can be solved. There are solutions out there. They might be expensive. They might take some time. And it's a learning curve, and we're learning, right? Sometimes you gotta make mistakes and learn by them. Unfortunately, sometimes they're costly. And it's our health we're talking about. But I'm not here to spread fear. There are solutions. And I'm going to share them along the way. So look out for that. And if you have any ideas or any solutions, or want to be supportive in any way with your expertise, advice, suggestions, sometimes you can see more clearly when you're not in the situation. We are open to all of that and happy to reciprocate in any way that is possible for us to do right now.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you soon.